What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch in the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis, inspiring everybody to be better, look better, love better, feel better, do better, have a better Thanksgiving every damn day of their lives. And our Tuesday night show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar. Unbelievable place to catch any of the games this weekend. You want to watch Michigan State at Penn State, Michigan at Ohio State, the U.S. versus England. Front 43 and Cask & Company. No better place for it all. Visit caskandcompany.com to check out that menu. That's just on the East Lansing border, north of Frandor. MSU game day specials, all sorts of fun stuff. If you want to watch the Michigan State basketball games, you might as well just park at Front 43 and Cask & Company. Jason, how you doing, brother? Riding right up into my rectum, and it was painful.
What's up, buddy? Last show before Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Yeah, same to you, man.
Yeah.
Should be
going out to Portland where everything's legal out there. I'm jealous.
Should be a good trip. There's a lot of work to do, a lot of basketball to cover, which is a lot of fun, and then there's going to be a lot of soccer and football and other things to watch while I'm out there. It's going to be a sports bonanza.
Is Elizabeth coming with you?
She is not. This would not go well because it's all work, and then I'd be like, I really want to watch this game. And she's hosting Thanksgiving for my mother and her parents, and aunts and uncles and my sister, and I'm so glad I'm not going to be there.
Man.
No, I'm just kidding. I really would love to be there.
Yeah, are you kidding?
I mean,
I know what you're saying. You're going to miss some food and some of the other shenanigans, but watching soccer by yourself in a hotel room?
Not the worst. I'll be honest. The Friday,
a little FaceTime.
She's going to visit another aunt and uncle Friday during the U.S. England game, and that would not have happened if I was around. I'm glad I didn't. You only get so many times to put your foot down for sports. I'm just grateful I didn't have to do it this weekend. So I got this work excuse. I'm just on the other side of the country.
Exactly, it's the perfect excuse.
It's a tremendous excuse. There are a few things I want to get into today. First of all, we got a great show, which we usually don't. No, I'm kidding. Harry Gagnon will join us in a little bit. We'll pick the games: the Michigan State game against Penn State. Talk some World Cup, Michigan, Ohio State. And then Brendan Quinn is going to join us a little later, and we're going to talk Michigan State hoops and Big Ten hoops, and maybe tease him a little soccer because I know he's thrilled about that. He's with you on soccer, by the way. He's not just doesn't quite.
He doesn't get it.
Doesn't quite get it. Doesn't quite see it. Before we do that, though, a couple stories today to get into. One of them, Jay Johnson, Michigan State offensive coordinator,
fired,
took the podium today. Little media availability.
Nice.
Here's the best part. So I'm all fired up about it. But I had to deal with another column that I've got to write tonight still on Jagger Joshua, the Michigan State hockey player, had a racial slur directed his way from Ohio State and the reaction to that. And so I was dealing with that, and I was the only person in Michigan State's coaching staff who's ever on time to press availability. And he's punctual as hell as Jay Johnson. Like the second practice is over, he's there. He wants to get it done with, and he's on time. And anyway, so I missed the very beginning. And Matt Charbonneau, good man that he is, asked the QB sneak short yardage question. So I didn't actually hear it from Jay Johnson because I was working on something else. But I had Matt send me the transcript of what was said because he knows. Matt sometimes listens, and he knows how much this particular question matters to our listenership. Mm-hmm. So here's what Jay Johnson had to say. That's a great question. Obviously, it's always you want to look at what your opponent's trying to present to you in those particular situations. A lot of times there's an extra hat in the box, and you have to decide what is best if they have extra people. How are you going to handle the extra people? And that's where defenses nowadays are loading it up on you. Some of this goes long. I didn't really edit this, of course. And so if you take the quarterback out as a runner, then the numbers change a little bit. So it's always a weekly deal, really, and we look at each week differently and how we think it is best. And with what the team is presenting to us. So, yeah, it kind of changes week to week. Blah, 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 blah. To me, that pistol, the gun, that really doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's a run, and so sometimes being in those help you because, you present something different to the defense that we think we can be an advantage. The sneak sometimes is there. Sometimes they're not when you look on the film at how some people defend the sneak or those types of things. When you watch the film, they'll pack it up and they stack everybody in there. And so really that situation is very calculated. Those situations are calculated, and they really look at that formation that we've gotten throughout the year and what the defense has presented. So the plans are always kind of put in that regard. In other words, it's a nothing burger, but he tried to explain it. In other words, as soon as I asked Matt and just said, he explained it, but nobody's going to be happy.
Bravo to Jay Johnson. Just talk until people just can't even pay attention anymore and then trail off.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You kept waiting for the punchline, the explanation. It didn't happen. And I wish I had been there to sort of like hear it in context and feel better about it and just describe it.
Oh, just blame it on numbers and blah, blah, blah. Didn't pass the smell test.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is they haven't been good on third and short, and they haven't run enough QB sneaks when they have a quarterback who can move. And there may be part of the season where he was a little banged up, and so that's a thing and whatever, and that's fair. But that's not what he said here. And I just, I think we all just have to agree to disagree for this at this point.
And I'm sure that explanation will stop people from calling for his job.
The problem is, and that's part of the problem with this, is they don't have a very good offensive line in certain regards. They've gotten progressively better the last 3 weeks, and they've been able to have some explosive runs. But what they still can't do is get the 1 and 2 yards when they really need it in short yardage. And that's been a problem all season. And until that changes as an offensive line, this program's limited. And but I do think the QB sneak is an underutilized element of
right, and it doesn't matter how many people. If you have 4 fat guys in front of you, you just reach over and get the first down. I mean, we're talking about quarterback sneaks, not about some sort of jet sweep bullshit. We're just talking about quarterback sneaks. It seems like simple football.
And 4th and half a yard is different than 4th and 2 on a QB sneak, and we get that too.
Sure,
like there's no doubt. And some of these. But anyway, it was an unsatisfactory answer that I couldn't even, whatever. I wish I'd been there to hear it.
Jay Johnson's like, why is he reading my statement? He doesn't make it sound right. That's not what I said.
Yeah. Oh, well. Appreciate you, Matt Charbonneau, for being there to ask it and hold people to account. As soon as and that was the worst part. Like, the best part is I saw the email, it's going to be Jay Johnson today. I was like, yes. And then I had a bunch of other things going. I was like, oh, no, he's the only guy who's ever on time for this thing.
I got to stop at Groovy Donuts.
That's the problem,
Dang it.
Yeah, what are you going to do? So if that answer didn't do it for you, let me tell you about Skymint, because I feel like that answer is going to drive some people that way. Skymint has some fantastic deals going on right now. 'Tis the season, 30% off all Skymint house brands for quite some time. November 22nd and 23rd. That's through tomorrow. I read that wrong initially. Apologies.
Get there quick.
Get there tomorrow. Tuesday and Wednesday. Went through Wednesday. 30% off all Skymint house brands. That's Skymint Reserve, North Jolly, Shorts by Jolly, Two Joints, and others. Really great deal. And so go to skymint.com. Look up your nearest Skymint. Chances are you live within half an hour. And if you're not there that day, you can always get 20% off if you've never been there before using the Couch and Rube promo code Couch and Rube 20 for 20% off at Skymint locations.
And also sign up for their text message they send out every day, or their Graham Couch newsletter where they send all of the deals, because the other day I got 5 Shorts Brewing gummies for $50.
That's a great deal.
Those are normally like $20 each.
Yeah.
So.
No,
you just got to look out for the deals at Skymint.
It's totally worth signing up for those emails. The other thing I wanted to get into before we get to Harry is the Detroit got a Final Four. 2027, the Final Four is going to be in Detroit. And there's a lot of Detroit love out there, and there are people pissed at Jeff Goodman for saying, damn it, I hate Detroit. It should be in other cities.
In all caps.
Right. And it was an anti-Detroit saying, I don't want it in Detroit for 2 totally different reasons. I feel bad for Michigan State's players, and I feel bad for fans at the games. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's start with fans at the games. Of all the places I've been for Final Fours and stadiums I've been for college basketball venues, Ford Field is the worst sloped sloped stands for watching basketball. It is the worst basketball experience that I've ever been a part of for the stands. In Indy, they build it knowing at Lucas Oil Stadium they're going to host the Final Four every 4 years. Other stadiums don't seem as bad. Detroit is the absolute worst. So it's not a great fan experience for watching the games. So yeah, it's cool to have the whole event in Detroit. That's fine. It's a crummy experience. Stay home. Do not buy a ticket. Unless you're in like the first 4 rows, it sucks. It sucks.
So you're on team Jeff Goodman.
No, he's being anti-Detroit as a city, and that's why he didn't want it. I'm being anti-Detroit Ford Field as a venue. I think if it was a Little Caesars, that'd be incredible. They won't do that ever again. The second part of this, and this goes to something Izzo talked about. The last time it was in Detroit, not only was there all this pressure to get there for Michigan State back then, to save the city and all that stuff, but the other element is it wasn't a lot of fun in certain ways. It didn't feel like a Final Four. They were just in their hotel near Detroit, Michigan, near home. And the Final Four is supposed to feel special. And for Michigan State, it really didn't in Detroit. And years later, if you talk to Izzo and those players about it, it just didn't have the usual oomph and pizzazz of a Final Four. Pizzazz, I'm sorry for using that word. Fix that in post if you would. Anyway, it is not as fun for the teams that are from around here. So if you're a Michigan State or Michigan fan, it's just not as cool. And it's also a shitty venue for basketball. For those two reasons, boo Detroit getting the Final Four in 2027. It's a year that I'll feel bad if Michigan State gets there. I'll feel bad for those guys. It's just not great for the fans.
Yeah, but you're in the Final Four if you get there.
Yeah, no, it's just not. And granted, if you win it, it's a huge deal. It would be a great deal. If they had won that Final Four in 2009, it would be this incredible memory.
And it's like 4 years away. I mean, maybe they can make some adjustments to
Ford
the
Field
setting. I don't know. Are we sure it's at Ford Field?
Yeah.
Was that announced? Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, unless they're planning to have a gas leak and build a new stadium, it's going to be at Ford Field.
I didn't know if it was at Little Caesars.
Yeah, no, they're all at this point. They're all at the stadium venues. Anyway, and maybe they'll set it up differently. Who knows? It was crap last time for fans. It wasn't fun for Michigan State's players in terms of feeling special. And so I'm just saying it's not really a win-win. It's great for the city and people can celebrate that.
So after all that, what am I mad at then?
I'm just saying it's disappointing. I just wish it wasn't back in Detroit. It's just not. It has nothing to do with.
So Jeff Goodman is the city of Detroit's ass, and your take is that Ford Field is ass.
Ford Field for basketball is ass.
Yeah.
So that's my my take on that. Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. It's been on my chest all freaking day. Anyway. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will pick the games, including Michigan State, Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, with the great Harry Gagnon. Couch in the Rue, presented by Skyman Premium Cannabis and Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company.
Ever wondered just how comfortable you can be? Find out with Muskox high-quality flannels. Muskox is a Detroit-based company that creates durable comfort that'll last a lifetime. Muskox flannels are thoughtfully designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. This will be the softest flannel you'll ever buy, guaranteed. For every $100 purchase, Muskox will donate $10 to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. Get comfortable this fall and winter with Muskox flannels. Learn more or order yours today at gomuskox.com. Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play. Get your Vegas on right now from your phone, tablet, or laptop. All the hottest slots and tables, plus sports betting featuring in-game wagering. Download the app at firekeeperscasino.com. Go with the name you know. Firekeepers. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Wherever you are on your cannabis journey, let Sky Mint Premium Cannabis be your guide, your friend, and your place. Whether you're curious about cannabis or a seasoned connoisseur, Sky Mint's knowledgeable staff will help you with a vast selection of products to choose from to fit your needs. Sky Mint believes access to the best cannabis helps people do good and feel good, so they grow it right here in Michigan, giving you high-quality, locally grown cannabis at highly accessible prices. Visit skymint.com for special offers and location information throughout Michigan and use the promo code
code CouchAndRube20 for 20% off your first visit. Sky Mint Cannabis. You'll love this place.
Find Couch and the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite, Podcast Addict.
Couch in the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis, and our Tuesday night show brought to you by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Casting Company Kitchen and Bar. It is now time to pick the games presented by Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. And for that, as always, the great Harry Gagnon from Against All Odds with Cousin Sal, bestbetcorner.com and extrapoints.com. Harry, brother, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? Graham, tell me you had Saudi Arabia. Tell me you had them.
I did not. I was heavy on Argentina. And every parlay you can imagine. I have sold my mother's house. She is homeless, and that is that.
Unbelievable, huh?
Just
wow.
All because of soccer. How bad is that?
Oof.
Just brutal. Like, I wake up, and the worst part is it's a 5 a.m. game, so I didn't even see it. You wake up, get ready to begin the day. You bounce down the stairs. You're excited about life. You pull up your phone. World Cup scores. Fuck. And that's how it begins.
Wait, you don't set an alarm, though? You got heavy money, heavy action, and you don't set an alarm?
It was a gimme. It was a shoo-in. This was a heavy favorite, sure thing.
I love those.
No way it could go wrong.
Unbelievable, huh?
And it went wrong. So there's that. Great. Anyway, have you had any luck so far? Because I'm pretty much, to me at this point, it's just Spain. Give me Spain all the way. I love their value to win. I love their value. They're like plus 800. Their value to get to the quarterfinals is a minus 150. I love that. I like England still has good value too, but like, give me Spain or give me death.
Wow. I did have my video pick today on Extra Points was the over in the Australia match against I'm drawing a blank.
They just France.
Yeah, France.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. And bam, just like that, 32nd minute was a winner, which is nice.
Yeah.
But and you know, I know you say Spain. Interesting. I have a feeling though. I've read reports where they don't even have some of the best players on this team. For some reason, they didn't make the roster. I'm thinking that Costa Rica plays a ton of defense at plus 600 tomorrow. Plus 600. I like the draw.
Here's the most important question, Harry. How long would you last in Qatar? However they're saying. No booze, no weed. I mean, what would you do there?
I know. It'd be a crusher, right? It would be a crusher.
And people are sneaking beers under Coke cans or something like that. Like, do they not
Is
see
that what they're
Brittany
doing
Griner? Now? I mean, what? They're crazy.
That is crazy.
This would be a bad look, though, if you're a country hosting the world.
Yeah.
And you start locking the world up. People are going to be freaking annoyed at you, you know? Like, it's
over soccer.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
It's I mean, you know, soccer's a big thing. My confidence has been fractured. This is how bad it is, Harry.
Yeah.
The Australia-France game. France was another team I have in, parlays to win that game comfortably. But naturally, Australia scores first. So I panic. I start hedging. I start doing all this stuff, and then France takes care of it, and I don't really win anything because I hedge the heck out of it. So, not great.
So who are yours to win? You definitely bet who to win?
Spain to win.
You bet Spain to win. I bet Belgium. I got Belgium at like 16-1. They finished third last World Cup. I still think they're pretty solid overall. I think their group is very weak, so they should get out of that pretty easy. And who knows from that point?
Oh, we're all in. See, the thing about me is I don't ever stop. I just need a win. That's all there is. It's
keep going until you get one.
And I love this stuff so much. All right, let's
give me Saudi Arabia, by the way. Taking it down.
I'll tell you what, that second goal I saw, that was a blast. That was great. That was a great goal.
I was stunned. I was stunned by that result when I saw those highlights. Yeah, it did not make any sense to me. All right, let's dig into these football lines. So the other kind of football. Let's start with some Thanksgiving Day pro football. And the Detroit Lions. We have hope again for the Detroit Lions, which is a beautiful thing. At home sort of at home. The Bills have made Detroit their home. I don't know how comfortable, much of an advantage it is, but at home, getting 10 against the Bills. I don't trust the Bills anymore. Like I used to trust the Bills. There aren't a lot of teams in the NFL I trust, and I'm worried about Josh Allen's health and all that stuff. I'm going to go Lions here at home. I've seen them play well on Thanksgiving Day. I think offensively they're doing enough. I'm going to say this, and the Bills are going to win by 24, but I do not trust the Bills the way they're playing right now. Give me the Lions with the 10 points on Thanksgiving Day. Jason, where are you?
Yeah, there's a lot of injuries. Kyle Meinke's reporting that the Lions are currently without their top 4 guards. So I don't know what the Bills' injuries are, Harry, but I got to say, I don't know. I'm taking the points because the NFL is so wonky, and I got to say, all of these guys love playing for Dan Campbell. So give me the double-digit points. And the I almost said the lie downs. And the Lions. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, congratulations. First 3-game winning streak in 5 years. 5 years for Detroit. Now, I'll tell you what. Yeah, exactly. They have balanced offense. They look – I mean, they are playing for Campbell. I think this – yeah, I mean, if you had – look, you're probably really upset. Imagine if you were laying the 8.5 last week if you had Buffalo. You had that thing wrapped in the bag, and then you lose at the very end. I think this is too many points. I'm taking the Lions too, guys.
Oh, man, the Lions are so screwed. We all got the Lions.
But it's double digits. I mean, the NFL is so wonky. I just don't know. You can't lay 10 points in the NFL anymore.
No, that's a very good point. It's too much. I agree. It's too much. All right. The other Thanksgiving traditional game, Giants plus 9.5 at the Cowboys. This is a tough game because I feel like this is very much a reaction game by Vegas, and they're playing on the public reacting to what the Cowboys just did to the Vikings and the Giants not playing well against the Lions. But the Giants have been pretty good all year. They played tight, close games. 9.5 is a huge number for a team that's, 7-3 in the NFL? It's too many points. Again, I like the Cowboys here, but give me the Giants in 9.5 points right now. Jason, where are you?
Well, like Jerry Jones said, I mean, they played the most complete game that he's seen in pretty much his history with the Dallas Cowboys franchise. I know we just got done saying double-digit points, and this spread is close to that, Harry, but I love the Cowboys in a runaway with this one. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, the Giants just all of a sudden devastated with a lot of injuries. Their center, Adoree Jackson's going to miss some time now. Wando Robinson, the leading wide receiver, out for the season. I mean, crusher. And Jones hasn't played the greatest lately. Dallas, I know people, like you said, are going to see that score against Minnesota last week, but still overall, regardless, yeah, they're still may not be that good this week. I think they may not score as much. Take the pedal off, put off the pedal a little bit against the Giants, who are just devastated. Like I said, I think this is a game where Dallas does cover, and I'd actually even lean towards the under too. I just don't think the Giants are going to score. I think it's a bad situation right now for the Giants.
All right, now I don't feel great about it. But for what? I don't think I would bet it anyway. But you guys are both on the Cowboys.
Then why'd you put it on here?
Defense is the real deal.
Yeah,
they can really play. I mean, when they are a top 3 team defensively, maybe even more when they're playing at their best. They're fantastic sometimes.
Well, I wanted to have the Thanksgiving Day traditional games on here, so that's why it's on here.
Oh.
You know, because people are going to be around watching that stuff and figure, might as well be have some action on it. The other NFL games that I want to look at here, Bears plus 4.5 at the Jets. This is an interesting spot because the Jets are going to bench their young quarterback maybe for good. And I feel like the Jets are pretty good, but hate their quarterback. And so because of that,
is it Flacco time?
Because of that, I think they play really well here. I do. And as good as Fields has been for the Bears and whatever, I'm not scared of the 4.5 here. I like the Jets. Give me the Jets at home with the 4.5. Jason, where are you?
I mean, I think the Jets are a great football team outside of their baby-faced MILF Hunter quarterback, but I just don't know. The Jets are giving 4 and a hook. I mean, if Fields plays, give me the Bears, but for this, still, give me the Bears with the points. What do you got here?
Well, Fields banged up. I'm with you, Graham. This Jets team, I think the defense rallies this team. I think they band together. I like them. I'm with you on the Jets.
Yeah, no, I love the Jets here. This is that's a total Jets play. Okay, one more NFL game and then to the college games. Raiders plus 3.5 at Kenneth Walker's Seahawks, who are starting to finally get love from Vegas. Like, this is not a line that would have looked like that 4 or 5 weeks ago. I know the Seahawks have not been quite as good as they have been lately. Raiders pulled out an overtime win and all that stuff. That 3.5 though I think they're trying to bait you into the Raiders. I think this is a Vegas play here. I'm on to you. Give me the Seahawks with the minus 3.5.
Yeah, I think this game should be in a teaser or alternate line. That half point just kind of scares me, but I love the Seahawks at home. What do you got, Harry?
Don't love this game, but I think, guys, I'm leaning towards Carr. Love the way they pulled that game out in overtime. I think this continues. I think he gets on a little fire here. Seattle's defense not the greatest. I'm gonna roll with the Raiders for 2 in a row.
Oh man,
I just hate betting against Seattle when they're at home.
Yeah,
it's either a fade or I'm taking Seattle.
Well, the only thing that's a shame is for so long this season they were unbelievable play because Vegas and the public hadn't caught on yet, and now it feels like they have. That people understand that they're a really good team, and that gravy train is over. Okay, college games. Some fun games this weekend. Obviously, we'll start with we'll do Friday's game first. The game I want everybody to have to watch. Nebraska, plus 10.5 at Iowa. That's a lot of points for Iowa to cover. Nebraska, rivalry game, Nebraska, final game for interim coach. Give me the Hawkeyes. Give me the Hawkeyes, who I think are going to give somebody hell also in the Big Ten championship. I'm not scared of the 10.5. I think their offense has found enough that they're going to score 20-some points, and Nebraska's barely going to get on the scoreboard. I'd like this almost all the way up to 14. Give me the Hawkeyes, Jason. Where are you?
God, I just can't. I mean, that defense is good, but who are they playing? Sorry.
Nebraska.
Give me Nebraska in the points. We got Harry.
I don't want to see either. Boy, I'll tell you, a disastrous season. Disastrous season for Nebraska. Iowa's defense is really good. I'll take the Hawkeyes here. I think they win. This could be something like 20-3.
That's very much the score I am picturing. I'm with you on that one, Harry.
They get to 20?
They've been playing a little bit better. All right, Michigan State plus 18 at Penn State. It's a big number, and I've been at games there where Michigan State's pulled it out, and I've also seen them get destroyed in this sort of setting. They played this last game of the year there a lot. I think MSU hangs in there for a while. I don't think they're going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be particularly close in the final quarter, but I think this is too many. Like, I wouldn't feel good about this line either way, but I think in the paper I picked it by 17. So I'm going to take MSU here. Jason, where are you?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just too many points, and then you throw James Franklin in the mix. This is almost like getting 3 touchdowns. So give me Michigan State. What you got, Harry?
Guys, I'm doing a spite bet here. Spite bet.
Uh-oh.
I'm spite betting against the Spartans.
What did they do to you?
I am taking Penn State because last week on a parlay, guys, that was paying a little over $400. I had Michigan State money line.
Oh.
For the game, they were minus 420, Graham. For the game, minus 420. Up 24-7 at half, and then the field goal fiasco at the end of the game. Are you kidding me?
No, that's a worthy spite bet. They deserve that spite bet.
Oh,
yeah. No, that's.
I mean, at minus 420 for the game, and you're up 24-7 at half. You're minus 8,000 at that point.
Yeah. No, that's bullshit.
Especially in a game against a team that doesn't. The season's over, and Indiana. Wow.
Yeah. No, not that's worth the spite bet. Yeah. Look, the problem for Michigan State is that Penn State has been sort of this perception of Penn State was built early in the year. Or middle of the year when the way they lost and got mauled by Michigan, and the way they struggled offensively against Northwestern. But they put up some serious points in the game since then, and they've been really good defensively in the game since then. They've been a really good team. They're playing good football, and so it's hard to picture. I'm not saying they're going to overwhelm Michigan State from a talent perspective, but it is hard to picture them pulling that upset. Okay, Michigan plus 7.5 at Ohio State. It'll be interesting to see who's got healthy running backs to what degree, because I think that makes a difference. And neither one of these teams is quite what they were at one point. Ohio State, to me, especially if Blake Corum's not 100%, like Ohio State is out to make a point with this game after last year. They are out to win a physical game. I'm not sure they really can do that up front as much as they'd like to, because I think Michigan's really good, and Michigan's offensive line is great. But I do think Ohio State's got the better passing game. I think they're going to cover this. I don't think it's a blowout, but I think they do cover this. Give me the Buckeyes. Jason, where are you?
Yeah, this 7.5 line, guys, it's just kind of they're just begging you to take Michigan with that hook on there. But I like Ohio State minus the 7.5. We got here.
Wow, yeah. You know what? I'm leaning towards Ohio State, too. I just don't like Corum, you guys mentioned, and Edwards, too, both banged up. If they're not 100%, Michigan really struggled last week to score. I mean, and also I kind of lean towards even Ohio State covering that 7.5, and also the game going under the 57 too, because 57.5. Both defense have been fantastic. You guys know, I don't think Michigan one time all year has given up more than 17 points, and they don't pass great. McCarthy hasn't been great. I think he's 178th in passing in the nation in terms of yards per game. So I'd like to try to run it, kind of like the under too, and maybe it's just a little bit too much again. I think Graham, like you said, and it's a little bit too much. And Ohio State wins this game going away a little bit by 14-17, but I think it still stays under too.
It could be. I think these two teams are closer talent-wise than the programs used to be. Michigan's done that, but I think the playmakers go to Ohio State in this particular game. Okay, last college game, a 2028 Big Ten matchup between Notre Dame and USC. Notre Dame getting 5.5 on the road at USC in a game that matters a ton to the Ohio State-Michigan loser. I think Notre Dame's got a real chance here. Ohio State has not played a lot. Their defense has not been very good. The question is, can Notre Dame keep pace, and is USC's defense bad enough that Notre Dame can easily keep pace? I think this is a decent sprinkle on the money line for Notre Dame too. I'm going to go with Notre Dame here. Don't feel great about it inside 6 points, but Jason, where are you?
I got to say, what Freeman's done after starting 0-2 has been impressive, but also USC, like you mentioned, Graham, their D isn't very good. Gave up 35 points to Cal, but I just think USC covers this game. What do you got here?
Boy, you know what? I'm leaning towards the Irish here because USC's defense so soft last week against UCLA and has been a few times this season. You know, Notre Dame very impressive lately. And remember, in the horseshoe this year against Ohio State, only gave up 21. Lost that game like 21-10, I believe. Played tough in that game. I think they played tough here too. I think they get the cover.
It's it's a great weekend of college football. It's a great weekend of sports, frankly. To have when you start with a Bills-Lions game that means something, and to both teams, frankly, you have a Michigan State for us around here. Michigan State playing in a sweet tournament out in Portland, which I'll be at this weekend. Basketball tournament that should be fantastic. You've got the World Cup soccer, USA England on Friday. And just a great college football slate Saturday and NFL slate Sunday. I'm pretty fired up. It's good.
Who do you like in that match, Graham? What's your call?
USA England. Yeah. So England kind of screwed me. I don't want to say spite bet, but I had them. But the way they dominated an inferior opponent led me to believe teams like Argentina would do the same, right? And so that got in my head a little bit. I don't know. I think the U.S. blew a great opportunity the other day. I think England's got too much. I think it's something like, I think the U.S. will keep it close, but I think it's something like 1-0 or a late goal, 2-0 goes to England. Where are you at, Harry, on it?
Probably the same. I mean, that was very impressive. 6 goals. I mean, this England team, some people I read thought they were going to be soft offensively. 6 goals against Iran, and about 6 goals, and Harry Kane didn't even score one of them.
Yeah, no, and they're just full of Premier League stars. Everybody knows who they are. It's kind of it's boy.
And if they put up 6, I mean, if it's 2-0 England, and there's still this could get to 3-1.
Well, and the key is now for the U.S., and this is important, is goal differential matters a ton. So because you didn't take care of business against Wales and you tied them, Wales is going to also play England, and assuming, and maybe both teams won't beat Iran, but you may need this game to be 2-0 or 1-0, and you can't let this thing get out of hand. And it also affects how you play the game. Like if you're playing a do or die game and you get down 2-0, you take a lot of chances. It doesn't matter if you lose 4-0. But in this game, it matters. So I'll be very curious to see how they play if they do fall behind. Harry, I hope you get to watch all of it and enjoy the weekend. And where will you be? Will you be? Oh, you're going to be at the in-laws, right?
I will be in Salt Lake City. Yes, I will be in Salt Lake City. Hopefully, I'm dodging a bullet and no snow. Do the in-laws understand how much sports need to be watched this weekend? They do. Well, you know what? I'll take that. They probably. No, they don't. Now that I think about it, no, they don't. So I I got to figure out. A little bit around that.
All right.
I'll figure it out. That'll be all right.
I'm pretty sure they figured it out during the vows when he did one of his live video updates.
That's a really good point.
I'm pretty sure they got it there.
Jay. Good point.
That is a really good point. Harry, you're a beautiful man. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Hey.
We'll talk to you next week.
You guys have a great Turkey Day too.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Harry.
That is the great Harry Gagnon and us picking the bets presented by our friends at Firekeepers in the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app, which you can download today. Bet all the games. Have fun with them this weekend. As always, bet within your means, and especially if you're taking my picks, really bet within your means.
So you're going to turn this soccer thing around? I mean,
it's not been good. I was worried about the World Cup. I think I said that on here, that I was so fired up for it with so little knowledge. It's the bad combination. Like in the Premier League, I know things. I have a sense of things. I've been paying attention all season. I read a lot of different blogs, and this, I read a few things, but I'm just fired up, and I'm going with the usual characters, and just I didn't know anything about Saudi Arabia's team, and I bet a ton against them.
But
right?
this is the time to follow you, though. When you're on a cold streak, that's when you want to jump on. Because a lot of people, you go on a heater for a week or something, that's when you get away. My humble opinion.
Spain is my thing I feel good about. I know Harry doesn't, but I feel really good about Spain. I think that's a great team. Spain unders are the best way to
soccer unders.
Soccer unders.
Oh my God!
So
Give
much
me more. Inject it into my veins, as the kids say.
So much fun. Yeah. Do you have any, like, of all the games this weekend and all the sports? And we don't have lines yet on the Michigan State basketball games. And I think we'll get in. I think that could go a little poorly. We'll get into that with Brendan Quinn here in a little bit. But is there any game you really like, betting wise, or just fired up to see, whatever it might be? What's your game this week?
I gotta say, it's the game Friday. When are they playing Michigan State? When are they playing? Thursday.
Michigan State basketball?
Yeah.
Thursday night.
Thursday
10:30
night.
PM.
I'm looking forward to that kind of tournament. It's at 10:30 at night. I don't know if I'm going to have to mainline some energy drinks or something to stay up for that. I just, like you said with Harry, it's just a weekend of greatness, of football everywhere, some basketball sprinkled in, soccer for you nerds. I'm going to consume it all, and hopefully I just don't lose a bunch of money this weekend.
Yeah, it's one of the best weekends, and I got to find a way. Like, I've got an uncle out in Portland that I've got to kind of see, and I've got to see enough games. But the other problem is, I found out today, like, the USA Today network, I work for Gannett, whatever, they want me to help out and cover Iowa State Villanova on Thursday at 3:30. I'm like, Eastern time. I'm like, man, really? Oh, man. That's like during the end of the Lions game, turning a 11-hour day into a 15-hour day. Do I really want to do that?
Three quick takes?
Not doing that. Yeah, we'll have to see what they at least I know Villanova a little bit, but man, I don't.
Isn't Portland like drugs are all legal there?
Everything's legal. Everything's legal.
Oh,
yeah, you get off the you get they hand you everything. I mean,
that's great.
It would be a great place for Skyman.
Should have got married there. It's in Mexico.
Yeah. No, it would be Anyway, there's no Skyman in Portland, and I will not take any on a plane, but there will be Skyman alternatives nearby if I have time for them. All right, let's take another quick break. We come back, we will talk to Brendan Quinn about Michigan State basketball and Big Ten hoops. Couch in the Rue, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis and our friends at Front 43 and Cask & Company.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts. Guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Michigan. Hopcat is proud to be an official sponsor of Peyton Thorne. Show your Spartan pride by ordering the iconic Peyton Thorne burger, created by the man himself. There is no better place to watch any Michigan State game other than the 50-yard line at Spartan Stadium. Stop by any of our locations: East Lansing, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Ann Arbor, Kalamazoo, and Holland. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit hopcat.com. Ever wondered just how comfortable you can be? Find out with Muskox high-quality flannels. Muskox is a Detroit-based company that creates durable comfort that'll last a lifetime. Muskox flannels are thoughtfully designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. This will be the softest flannel you'll ever buy, guaranteed. For every $100 purchase, Muskox will donate $10 to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. Get comfortable this fall and winter with Muskox flannels. Learn more or order yours today at gomuskox.com.
Find our live stream, podcast archives, as well as show, affiliate, and sponsorship information at our website, spotlightmediastudios.com.
Couch in the Roo, presented by Skyman Premium Cannabis. It is time now for our Hopcat interview of the week, and for that we have the great Brendan Quinn, reluctant national writer, soccer aficionado, World Cup enthusiast, and hopefully sober. Brendan, how you doing, man?
Interview of the week, huh, Graham? This is the best you could do?
This is it. This is what we got. We do one interview a week, other than our gambling guy.
This show has really hit rock bottom, but here we are.
Yeah, well, thank you for being our interview of the week, presented by Hopcat, which, by the way, best damn beer bar, world famous Cosmic Fries.
Love Hopcat.
Yes.
I'm a fan.
There you go.
Yes.
Peyton Thorn Burger, 2 smash patties, American cheese, bacon, sunny side egg up. Welcome to the live read, by the way, Brendan. Wow, each location
really
has carefully curated craft beer featuring local partners. So wherever you are, Hopcat feels like a local brew pub in your neighborhood. Go to hopcat.com to find the nearest Hopcat location. Of course, one in East Lansing, Grand Rapids, Indianapolis, Kalamazoo, Detroit, Ann Arbor, you name it. Brendan, how you doing, man? You good? Things all right?
You need me here? You need me here for this?
I don't. I don't. I just needed you to introduce you for the Hopcat interview of the week. And no, I just wanted to talk 15 minutes of World Cup soccer, and I thought there was nobody better to do that with than you.
I mean, I'm ready to break down, what are they called? Are they called formations?
Yeah.
Would that be lineups?
Yeah, all of it. You're right. You got this. You've got this.
Into it.
You've got this. Okay. Spain plays tomorrow. So no. Okay. Wanted to talk some Big Ten hoops, some Michigan State hoops, and you are in the national writer realm, but you're not far away. You do a really good podcast still that is much more Big Ten centric than ever, The Moving Screen with Dylan Burkhart, and if people have never listened, they should. You just wrote a really nice piece on the journey of John Beilein and titled The Quintessential College Coach and the Lessons He Can't Explain. You wrote on Izzo after the Kentucky game and wrote on Amani Bates recent. But I want to get your early perception of some things in the Big Ten and Michigan State and what is happening. Is what MSU has done to this point surprised you?
I think they're a little ahead of expectations. I think that's fair to say. Talent-wise, when I think you laid out Michigan State's roster going into the year, from its starting 5 to its, top 5 plus bench, looked, I didn't rate it among the best in the league. I thought it was, certainly a talented group and could do good things. In terms of them playing this national, a national schedule against, supposed Final Four caliber programs, Gonzaga and Kentucky, looked pretty good. Looked pretty good. I mean, the thing that's hard to gauge is, I think that the continuity that this program is bringing into this year, which is far ahead of what most other teams have to offer, versus kind of like what the ceiling is. So, because Michigan State has its top 6, 7 are basically running it back. They've all played together. They've played NCAA tournament games. They're very experienced. They're older. Does that kind of equate to them being more equipped to play in November and be ready for some of these games, as opposed to a lot of the other teams we're watching on the national kind of scale versus, how good can they be in February? Teams are going to keep getting better. And does Michigan State keep getting better is kind of the question, I think.
I agree. I think obviously Jaden Akins is a guy who's been out 9 weeks, and if he can stay healthy, is somebody who can progress from where they are. But certainly who that backcourt is defensively is already really good, and is the backup 5. Can those guys become adequate enough to spell Sissoko, who's been obviously a pleasant surprise? You're right, and you look at the Michigan State teams that were never better than they were in November. The Denzel Valentine senior year, the year with Appling as a senior and Gary Harris as a sophomore. Like, those teams were never better than they were out of the gate, and they had tons of experience. So if you were to say what's key to their ceiling, like for them to be, they look like they can be a top 3, top 4 team competing in that level of the Big Ten, just based on that experience, based on the fact that I think they're going to win a lot of road games against bad teams because they've got that experience, and they're good enough, and which may get you in a realm where you're capable of getting to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. But if they're going to be any more than that, if that's not their ceiling, what has to happen?
I mean, I think you can nitpick some kind of big picture things, like they could probably be a little better in terms of like their identity as a program. You probably want them to be a little bit better of an offensive rebounding team. You probably want them to obviously cut back the turnovers a little bit. You'd want them to be a little bit more efficient, things like that. And then roster wise, it's, the 5 position. Does a guy like Jackson Collar, kind of come on and start to gradually establish himself as, one of the, let's just say, 10 best freshmen in the conference, which I think would have been a reasonable expectation going into the year, in comparison to kind of where he is as a top 50 recruit and the way that Tom Izzo was talking about him. Like, that's not crazy to say that he should be a guy who can give you 15 to 18 good minutes a night. Because, like, right now he's in the woods, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's November 22nd. That's not a big deal. But in February, what is he? Because if he's a thing and it works and it's like he's pushing Matty Sissoko for minutes, Michigan State will be in a better place. If Pierre Brooks becomes one of the better subs in the league, that plays itself out fairly well. And then the other thing is just staying healthy. Like, all these things that you can't control. There's very little for as established as Michigan State is. I think you can say, like, it is the most kind of clear-cut, established. You know what you're going to get. No one on the roster is going to particularly surprise you. It's pretty much the most clear-cut team in the Big Ten right now. And on the flip side of that, it also has the smallest margin for error, because one body drops and then it's kind of all hell breaks loose, and you're patching holes with fingers. So that to me seems like that kind of fine line of, like, how much better can they get versus how much are you hoping nothing goes wrong?
That's a really good point, because I look at their strength in one way being their flexibility and their versatility. Like, their depth isn't in the numbers; it's in having 6 or 7 guys who can play a number of different ways with different combinations. But if you lose one of those 6 or 7, you're in real trouble in terms of you lose that flexibility.
All of those guys can give you 14, 16 points. Like, no one would surprise you if he gives you 17 tomorrow against Alabama, or Thursday against Alabama, whenever that game is, right? Like, Malik Hall gives you 17, Hauser 17, Walker 17, Hogarth 17. Like, nobody would surprise you. And that's an amazing luxury to have. But, like, it's also kind of finite in its structure.
Well, like, and I think this weekend is going to be telling about that. I mean, if they don't have Jaden Akins against Alabama, and then, beyond there in Portland, like, there's a chance Alabama's the best team they've played yet. I mean, there really is, and it's hard to tell because Alabama hasn't been tested themselves yet. But there's a chance, just from a talent perspective, that they're in that realm at least. And what does Michigan State look like if Akins isn't there and it's Pierre Brooks is the alternative? And and maybe Brooks will be fine, but they're a different team with Pierre Brooks than they are with Jaden Akins in terms of what he does for them athletically. I think this weekend could be revealing of just how much it's essential that they have all their components available. I wanted to ask you about Sissoko in the sense of it's been described to me several times as sort of an Izzo FU tour. And I think there is some of that. I think he is But I don't think he knew it was going to work 100%. He had some hope. He had enough of an inkling to think it might. But, I mean, he's got to be – I mean, I've heard him say pleasantly surprised. I don't think he knew Sissoko was going to be this capable against really good big men right away, and that everything was going to – I think he knew his guards could be really good, but I think that component has really changed what they can be this season.
Yeah, and I certainly questioned the rationale of kind of going into the year with the five position the way that it's made, but he's also still let's not kid ourselves. He's still like a peripheral player. Everything that he's going to get offensively comes. It's on a dump pass or an offensive putback, right? I mean, this is not someone that you're looking to feed and go to and kind of pound the ball on the blocks and anything like that. And that's not knocking him at all, but it's still like the fact that he's being as productive as he is in the role that he is the ultimate kind of payoff or surprise or whatever you want to say, that he is being pretty hyper productive in a fairly limited, we're not asking much of you, man. It's set a screen and roll to the basket, get offensive rebounds, and be a capable defender, both in ball screens and one-on-one on the post. And as long as you can do that and play 24 minutes a game, the rest, if you have the best backcourt in the league, with Michigan State might, you can get by with that. And right now he's doing that. And I'm surprised that it's happening this early. So, yeah, I don't think this is a time for Tom Izzo to strut and say, I told you so, because I think even he would acknowledge that 2 weeks before the season, he was kind of, I don't know.
It's early.
Nervous
Yeah.
about what was going to happen at that position, and that it might completely blow up, because if he went and got put in the ringer by Timme and Oscar Tshiebwe, then it would be all right now. This conversation would be like, what the hell were they doing? Why didn't they get a 5 in the transfer portal? So, it's worked out. And all the credit in the world goes to Mady Sissoko, who apparently has just absolutely worked his ass off for, every minute that he's been at Michigan State.
Yeah, he understands his role extremely well. He understands what they want from him really well, and that's paid off. And it's something that without saying his name, Izzo has referenced, I think, with Marcus Bingham Jr. a little bit early this year. I mean, that he couldn't always get Bingham to do the things they really needed him to do. It is early yet. I'm waiting to see with how Sissoko does night in and night out when they need him. But I do think he's one of those guys who also has the ability to play up more than he does to dominate below him. So it doesn't, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting year when he faces decent big men. Of the rest of the Big Ten that you have seen, Penn State looks really interesting and good. Michigan's obviously struggled a little bit. Indiana is, they've been I think as advertised to some degree. What's that tier for you? The top tier.
Yeah, I think Indiana, that game that they won at Xavier, that's a hard place to play, and it was a game that could have gotten. It was a game that other Indiana teams would have lost. So the perception of Indiana being the favorite going into the year, them winning that game, I did think kind of was a statement. That's a cliche, but it was very much okay, we have reason to think that Indiana could be the best team in the league, even though they kind of tried to piss it away late, but figured out a way to win. Good on Indiana. Iowa is going to be a top 5 offense in the country again, and is basically looking like it could be a top 60 or 70 defense, which means it's a team that could reasonably win the Big Ten. It's not out of the question. And Chris Murray, this is fairly kind of jarring to say, but Chris Murray is ahead of where Keegan Murray was at this time last year. And I know it's an easy comp, and I've been myself kind of cautious to make it. didn't think it was really fair to him. But, like, at this time last year, Keegan Murray was just destroying a bunch of, like, super low major teams, and Keegan Murray just went and put it on Seton Hall. So, like, he's already proven himself at a time that his brother hadn't last year. So Iowa is legit. And, you know, Illinois, what it did out in Vegas was fantastic. I thought they looked great against UCLA. I thought they looked great against Virginia for the first, like, 32 minutes of that game. Terrence Shannon is one of the more interesting players in the Big Ten. That team is like 8 deep in super interesting, talented players. Illinois was my pick to win the league, and I kind of still feel good about it. And then to me personally, like, the surprise early is Maryland. You know, wins over St. Louis and Miami, I don't think anyone really cares outside of, like, the sickos and the basketball nerds, but, like, those are 2 good wins. Like, St. Louis is going to finish second or third in the A-10. Miami's probably a top half of the ACC team. And, you know, Maryland, for a program that is in theory kind of trying to rebuild on the fly without rebuilding, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a complete turnover, but it's also a massive change in head coach with Kevin Willard coming in and kind of just a whole page turn in philosophy. Like, they're ahead of schedule. They play really good ball. They run great stuff. And Donta Scott, like, everyone forgets about Donta Scott as one of the better players in the Big Ten, and all he's been doing is producing for 4 years. So, like, I thought in the preseason that he has kind of all the makings of that, like, first team all Big Ten guy that nobody talks about. And then at the end of the year, it's just an experienced dude who's just gone out and averaged 19 and 12 and just been an absolute dog and made game-winning plays. Like, that's him. That's Donta Scott. So, really like Maryland early.
Can Michigan get this right around Hunter Dickinson? It doesn't look great early here.
They're hard to watch right now. The guard play is bad. Now, it's also one of those situations where, you know, you'd kind of be a fool to say, like, oh, you know, Jalen Llewellyn isn't the guy. Because early on, Devontae Jones did not look good at all last year. I mean, he looked downright bad at times. And Mike Smith, 2 years ago, transferring in from Columbia, he looked bad in November. So, like, there's still time for Jalen Llewellyn to come along and figure it out. The thing that concerns me with Llewellyn's kind of timeline is, you know, they went overseas early this summer. He had 3 games. He had 10 extra practices. I think you'd want to see him further along than what you're seeing right now. I'd put it this way. Like, I had high hopes for Jalen Llewellyn because he's playing with Hunter Dickinson. And I'm like, he's going to be in a 2-man game with Hunter Dickinson, which is going to elevate him, and he's going to be one of the better point guards in the league. And it's super early, and I don't know if this is fair or not, but, like, now my thought is starting to trend to, like, okay, is it actually the other way? Did I not consider the other way around, where, like, maybe he's not great, and that in turn affects Hunter Dickinson, right? Like, it can go both ways. So there's a lot to figure out with Jalen Llewellyn. There's a lot to figure out with their guards altogether. Like, Jet Howard's an elite shooter and elite scorer, but they're really, really struggling to just move the ball, run sets, get good looks, make good looks as a team. They're shooting under 30% on threes, which obviously makes things, just kind of pounds everything. And then defensively, they've just been bad. Like, that Arizona State game was awful. So can they fix it? Of course they can. The problem is next Tuesday they play Virginia, which is playing like as well as anyone in the country right now, not named Houston. I think Virginia could win the ACC, and they're coming to Ann Arbor on Tuesday. And then a week after that, they go to London to play a desperate Kentucky team. Like, these are not the games you want to be playing right now. And then you get home, and I think it's like mid-December, they have to go to Charlotte to play North Carolina. Like, for a team that's looking to get right, this is not like the wave of low major teams coming up. So they might be a little beat up by the time Big Ten play comes around. And I think the big question is going to be, like, how workable are they come early January in terms of, like, understanding what they want to be and working toward that.
Where are you spending Thanksgiving?
Detroit, Michigan. Go Lions.
Hey, so am I the only one? Like, I am not a fan of the Final Four in Detroit, and it's not the. I know, Goodman had the tweet and it's basically an anti hanging out in the city for a weekend, whatever. That's my take is two things for different reasons. One, I think it's, of all the places I've been to, the big stadium arenas, it's the worst slope for fans. It's like the worst fan watching basketball experience stadium, and maybe they'll configure things a little differently this time, but the last time was awful. It was the worst I've ever seen. And just having conversations with Izzo and guys who played on that team, like for Michigan State, it would be the same for Michigan if they were part of that Final Four. It just takes away some of the specialness. You're not going anywhere. You're hanging out in your hotel in basically your hometown, your backyard. There's all this local stuff around you. It's just not. I don't think. I know people like the idea of it, and it's great for the actual city, but it's not really a win for the hoops or the teams that people care about.
All right, two things. So I would say, one, you're theorizing the possibility of Michigan or Michigan State being there, which
totally, it's 2027.
Very small to slight to slim odds, right? Regardless of whether they're good or not, it's just really hard to make the Final Four. So
you and I will both be covering soccer full time by then, so it won't. This will be irrelevant to us.
At that point, I'm hoping Detroit is my vacation home. I'm living somewhere in the South year round, so I don't have to be here for the winter. But the thing with the viewing is, like, look, I think every stadium sucks, and does some suck more than others? Probably. It's a terrible viewing experience, regardless. I was in New Orleans last year, and wherever the hell it was before that, and wherever it was before that. There are these massive arenas. You can't see, or stadiums. You can't see anything. If you're in any seat behind the basket, you can't see anything. It doesn't matter. What I would say in terms of the plus, the net positive for putting it in a place like Detroit, a city like Detroit, is that there is something, I think, healthy and wonderful about hosting these style events in great, like, actual American cities, as opposed to these, like, just empty, vapid. Everyone's like, Vegas, that's so great. No, like, yes, it'll be fun to go to Vegas, but, like, does Vegas need a Final Four? Is it going to do anything for Vegas? Not really. It doesn't make a difference. It's already flooded with degenerates for 3 weeks every March anyway. It doesn't matter. For a city like Detroit, yes, like, hosting events like the Final Four helps hotels get built. Helps, like, expansion to stuff. Like, it's an important thing. I'd rather see it in true cities that need it. So, yeah. I am a pro, regardless of the fact that it's 20 minutes from my house. I am pro it being in Detroit and cities like it. I actually wish more proper cities had, like, actual domes that could host a Final Four. That's the problem, is that, the Final Four is now only played in these convertible football stadiums.
Right, you can't do it in Pittsburgh, right?
Very few northern cities have them, or, most of the cities. Like, you could never do it in Philly. You couldn't really even do it in New York. Like, it would, like, a Final Four in New York would be sick, but there's nowhere to play it.
Yeah. You make a great point. You should write a counterpoint column and just slam all my ideas. I mean, it would be good. I would read it. It would be good. You make a really
I'll
good point.
I'll come on your show and tell you you're an idiot. I don't have to.
This is why you're the Hopcat interview of the week. You know, I mean, there's no way around it.
Do I get a case of beer or anything?
We can work on a Hopcat gift card. That's about the extent of our.
I'd love to hear that.
But we'll make that happen for you. Brennan, have a great Thanksgiving, man. I'll see you real soon. Thanks for the time.
You too, my friend. Thanks, Graham. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours and everyone out there.
Appreciate you. That is Brendan Quinn from The Athletic. Basically putting me in my place, my earlier opinion on Detroit in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I said what I said, and there we don't fix it in post, so what are we going to do about it? We appreciate Skymint. Go to skymint.com to find out locations nearest you. Have your weed delivered. Load up before your family visits. And again, through Wednesday, 30% off all Skymint brands. Go to skymint.com for location information and specials. And also, Front 43 and Cask & Company. You looking for a place to watch the games this weekend? Front 43 and Cask & Company, just on the East Lansing border. Fantastic place to do it. Great meals, great beer, great TV setup. Have a good Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, you too.
Couch in the Roof.